Hi, welcome. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome back to Brewed for HR Success with CoAdvantage and PrimePay. Excited to see you all this Friday morning. I know we like to keep things pretty succinct here and down to 20 minutes exactly. So we're going to go ahead and get started pretty quickly. Today, we are going to be talking about the One Big Beautiful Bill and beyond, simplifying payroll and compliance in 2026. Today, I'm very excited to introduce my co-host, Kristen Baldwin, who is the Director of Compliance here at CoAdvantage and PrimePay, where she turns new laws and regulations into clear, practical guidance for employers. Before joining CoAdvantage, she led state government affairs for NAPEO and has advocated for industries from automakers to Kentucky bourbon. Kristen holds a BS in economics from Center College and lives in Alabama with her family and their coonhound, Stella. Welcome, Kristen.
Thanks. Good morning. Good to see everybody this morning.
Awesome. And I know y'all know me, but I'll do a quick brief introduction as well too. I'm the director of product marketing here at PrimePay. I've been in the uh, payroll, HR, and HCM space for a little over 8 years now. Always been in marketing, big fan of AI and HCM and AI in general. And I'm excited to be with you all here this chilly Friday morning here in Scranton, Pennsylvania. All right, let's get started. First, let's talk about the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which was passed July 4th of this year. Um, I know that the current administration's agenda was very big on this, and it was passed by the 119th Congress around tax and spending policies. I know we're going to talk about the different aspects of this bill, Kristen, but just first thoughts, anything you want to share about what we should be aware as we go through our 20 minutes webinar today?
Yeah, Keegan, thanks so much. There's going to be a lot that we're going to be sharing with you guys. A lot of this is pretty high level. We're going to have some more information on some various blogs, but really focusing today on the payroll components of it. We'll talk a little bit about some of the healthcare changes that are coming their way, but excited to jump in and share some high level things with you guys on the call today.
Awesome. Excellent. All right. Well, let's get into it.
All
So
right.
let's kick it off by talking about overtime and tip tax deductions. Kristen,
All
I'm gonna hand it
right.
over to you.
Great. Thanks so much. All right. So the two big things that have been big things in the news recently when this bill passed was the no tax on tips and no tax on overtimes. But note the title of this slide. It's titled tax deductions. Since employees are still required to pay tax on their tips and on their overtime. And so the change in this law is for your employees that they will be able to file a tax deduction on those tip wages and that premium overtime when they file their 2025 taxes. This is going to be a conversation that your employees are going to be having with their CPAs or whoever's helping them file their taxes in early 2026. From an employer standpoint, no changes are going to be occurring this year with respect to how it's being reported on the W-2. We are going to be seeing some changes for next tax year. The IRS has provided draft changes to the W-4 and the W-2. So for next tax year, we're going to be seeing some changes. But for this year, it will stay the same going forward. As a reminder, again, your employees should be reporting all of their tips to you as the employer to qualify for the deduction. We've talked a little bit about tips. Let's go over to the overtime there. The no tax on overtime, that deduction is limited just for the overtime premium, which is mandated by FLSA. That's going to be a little bit of a complicated calculation, and looking at that one, that will probably provide a little bit of confusion from your employees. We're going to be working on some more examples to come on some blog posts with some actual real world examples to explain that. But again, if it's beyond the premium pay, like the extra halftime, double time, that is not deductible. So we'll be looking to give you guys some more guidance, some more examples for what that looks like for premium overtime, and then some real examples related to what's qualified and not qualified for tips. But again, high level for heading into the tax year for 2026 for that tax year, the filings, there's no specific changes that employers are going to be doing, but you probably will be, this will be at the employee level for them filing their own tax deductions for their tax year.
Hey, Kristen, just a question on that. Like how will overtime be reported on the W-2 if there's no changes for 2025?
So there is already a section on the W-2 related to overtime for that one. And so you'll just be looking at your W-2. There's some instructions in your W-2 for that and be working for that one for the deduction. This did pass mid-year, and so the guidance that the IRS has provided to employers is to use reasonable methods to report that, to go with that one. So again, it'll be on the existing W-2 for that for this year.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I know we're going to talk a little bit more about this as we move our way through, but I just want to make sure, forgot to mention this caveat at the beginning. Even though we are here to talk to you about what's going on in this bill, and what we perceive to be the impacts, you should still always check with your attorney, your legal advice, your accountant as well too, to make sure you're getting, important critical information for your business. This is meant to be high level. So thank you, Kristen. I'm going to head over to the next slide. And before I do that, I also want to mention that there will be announced at the end of the presentation today, in just about 13 minutes, we are going to announce a winner of the 6-month subscription to Trade Coffee. So stay tuned. We'll announce the name live on the air here, and as we work our way through. All right. So now I want to make sure that we hear from folks live. We've got a poll ready for you. We want to make sure to stay engaged and hear from y'all out there. How have your employees raised questions about overtime or tip tax deductions? Curious to hear from y'all about the impact at your organization. And we'll give folks just another 10 or 15 seconds because we do want to keep things going here, but just curious about, have they raised questions? Are they concerned? I saw the question about overtime. Thank you, Kristen, for answering that. And while I think this is probably good here now, I'd love to see, what are folks saying? Oh, wow. So about 15% of you are saying yes, your employees have raised questions, but actually the majority of you are saying no, they haven't raised questions about it yet. I think that, stems back to us as leaders and sharing the impacts of this information. Kristen, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm not surprised. I'm sure people that did have questions, they probably thought as soon as the bill was passed, their next paycheck that came in July was going to show that there were not any taxes taken out of those tips and overtimes immediately. It is a little bit buried about the tax deduction, but again, as things ramp up and people start filing their taxes in early 2026, there'll probably be some questions that will come out during that time. And so again, we're going to be providing some more guidance, some more examples to help your employees as they have questions that may come to you, so you can be a resource for them as it comes at the employee level. And so, but again, as HR leaders, you guys want to be able to provide answers and provide guidance and resources to them. So we hope we can do that on your behalf.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about impacts of, next big thing we want to call out here from the One Big Beautiful Bill. That's I-9 and E-Verify.
Yeah,
Kristen,
so
thoughts
yeah,
on
so
this?
yeah, so one of the biggest changes in here is an increase in funding for both the Department of Homeland Security and for ICE. I'm sure most of you have seen various different news reports talking about this one. But for you as an employer, why this matters is because of the increased enforcement and potential audits you may receive from ICE. And so to ensure compliance again with your new hires and existing employees, we at CoAdvantage and at PrimePay, we offer our clients access to tools for a digital I-9 or for E-Verify to streamline verification and to reduce those errors. If you were ever served with an ICE audit, you're going to need to provide a lot of information very, very quickly within a 3 business day time period to ICE to complete that audit. And so these tools that we have that are digital, they can definitely help you with that to ensure that you can minimize your fines or any penalties that could come about with that one. Also with the E-Verify, some states do require you to have E-Verify. That's a real time, enter in the information, E-Verify can come back to you very quickly to provide that information to you about your employees. But again, we do have solutions here at PrimePay and CoAdvantage that can assist you as an employer to ensure that you are being compliant with these I-9s and E-Verification required laws.
Awesome. Thank you. I know from the PrimePay side, it's pretty easy. It's built into the employee onboarding section of our dashboard here, and both I-9 and digitally verified available across both products. So thank you, Kristen, for that. Now I want to jump back into a poll again and hear again from the audience. Is your company currently utilizing a digital I-9 and e-verification tool? And is that helping streamline your new hires? And that's a yes, no, not sure. Curious to hear from y'all on this Friday morning about what does that look like? And by the way, if you have questions, I see there's already some popping up in the Q&A, but please feel free to drop them into the Q&A. All right, and most of y'all said yes, you are using a digital I-9 and e-verification tool. Excellent. That's excellent. Love hearing that. About 63% of you said yes, 34% of you said no, which is pretty surprising as well too. Kristen, any thoughts on that?
I think, again, increased funding, a lot, but trust but verify is where the ICE is right now, but increased funding with ICE to do more targeted audits is never a good thing as employers. You're always worried about another potential audit that may come down your way. And so just having these tools that are out there that you can utilize to just ensure that you are being compliant, that you're catching everything, you have everything documented, have it easy accessible. I think the accessibility is one other thing that these tools utilize for you. Again, 3 days doesn't sound like a lot of time to make sure you have your the documentation that you need if an audit does come to fruition for you.
Yeah, and we've got a couple of great questions from the audience that I want to ask you, Kristen. First one is from Steven. He says, are the e-verify requirements based on employee home state?
Yeah. It's
Or
all
the
based
employee
on,
state?
yeah, that question is where the worksite location is. So if the employee is living in or excuse me, is working in Alabama, that's where that's going to be. Go for.
And any quick outline of what is typically required in an I-9 audit? Like what are they expecting to see or high level?
Great question. We have developed an I-9 audit toolkit in the helpful documents. If you're a CoAdvantage client, we do have an entire documentation to kind of help you go through that. What are they looking for? What are you doing on yourself from an internal audit to make sure that you're doing that one? But at the high level, ICE is pretty much just confirming that you have all your documentation in order, that all of your employees, current employees have an I-9 on file. They're looking to make sure that anyone that has been separated from your company within the last 3 years, you have an I-9 on file for them. Again, very paperwork intensive that they're looking at to review those to confirm that all the information in there is accurate and correct. But again, that's why those digital I-9 tools come into effect, and to confirm on that front end that when you have a new hire that they're capturing all the proper information.
Yeah, it's awesome. Just to put out there for those of you who are not using a digital I-9 and e-verify tool, and just from the tech side of things, the options available across CoAdvantage and PrimePay are not are not exactly what you might imagine. Like, yes, there's a way to upload the photo of the person going through the process. There's a way to upload documentation, taking a photo, but there's also options to have them go to someone in person and fill out that verification portion of the process as well too. So, it doesn't have to entirely. I know there's definitely some concern out there about 100% digital verification, and with AI these days and all kinds of technology advancements. I know there was some concern, at least over the last couple of years, about what that might look like. So, you just putting that out there that both platforms have the capability of doing a full digital or hybrid, depending on what you're looking for. Awesome. So now I'm going to jump into the next big topic here in the One Big Beautiful Bill, and that is HSA expansion. Kristen, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Great, thank you again. All right, so next one, we're talking about health savings account. The bill definitely touched on two areas of healthcare. We're going to first talk about HSA, and then we'll flip over to FSA. But this bill does make several pandemic era flexibilities around the HSA permanent, and it adds new options for both the employers and the employees to take advantage of the tax-free health savings. So this new law makes high deductible health plans, or those HDHPs, to cover telehealth services before deductible is met without affecting your HSA eligibility. I know a lot of people really enjoyed the telehealth options during the pandemic, and this bill just makes those permanent. This also removes the uncertainty for employers and makes it easier to design competitive benefits that meet employee expectations. The second icon there in the middle is talking about direct primary care arrangements. And beginning in 2026, your HSA funds can be used for these direct primary care arrangements. Employees can use pre-tax dollars for monthly direct care fees, giving them access to affordable relationship-based healthcare. And it opens the door for employers to support these direct primary care arrangements as part of a broader health strategy. I know the direct primary care model has definitely been something that's gained interest in the last decade or so. That model has been really successful. People who are looking for that relationship-based healthcare provider. And so this bill is looking to expand upon that, taking the feedback from Americans that they do want more of that type of coverage. And then the last thing that's listed here, starting this year in 2025, individuals enrolled in a bronze or a catastrophic health plan through the ACA marketplace will be allowed to contribute to an HSA. And so this expands to part-time workers, gig economy employees, and others who previously did not qualify for this tax-free option. And then we do think that employers may see a higher HSA participation as a result of these changes. And then finally, on this side, just to wrap up on this one, we want to make sure that as employers, you're reviewing your current plan designs, starting for 2026, and then making sure you as an employer are evaluating whether you support that direct primary care access, you're updating your benefits communication, and ensuring that your systems can handle the new eligibility rules. And again, just to make sure that these changes offer a chance to expand benefits while you are trying to stay compliant. Healthcare is not the easiest thing to comply with. We know some of those changes, they get into the weeds and can get tricky, but definitely working with your healthcare provider to ensure that these are being done and these are offered, and you can review those as an employer. But high level, some good changes to the HSA programs, some things that people have been requesting and looking for.
Wonderful. And Kristen, just a quick clarifying question. Can you just define quickly for our audience direct primary care? What is that?
Yeah, so it's a relationship. So for example, right now, you can have more of a one-on-one relationship with a provider, direct primary care provider. And so, for example, looking at there's models that are set up that you can have like a text message back and forth or direct email to a physician or whatever that provider is. And so you literally are paying for kind of a concierge service type of arrangement. And so you're, again, able to email, text message back and forth with the provider. You can have as many communications with that primary care than otherwise you're just kind of going into a model where you have, for my son, for a pediatric office, you're getting, 20 different providers that are there. You're getting kind of first available model that goes with that. And so again, just a different type of relationship-based healthcare that you're getting one-on-one. Typically, I don't think for you, I doubt you have your text message for your GP, but that's a different model of healthcare people are providing.
Wonderful, thank you. And now I want to get to the last topic for today. This is dependent care FSA increase. As a parent myself, I know I'm pretty excited about this.
Yeah, I'll do this one quickly. So flexible spending accounts. And so we're increasing the dependent care FSA contribution limit. First time it's been increased since it started in 1986. It's going from 5,000 to 7,500. Again, 7,500 doesn't seem like a whole lot for those of us that pay for childcare. That goes by very quickly. But the limit is going to be offered, and that employers, you need to make sure you're updating your cafeteria plan documents and your summary plan descriptions, and make sure that those are formally adopted before employees can take advantage of that new cap.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you, Kristen, for your insight today. If those of you out there listening, interested in more resources, we've got two great ones here to share with you today. Go ahead and scan that QR code. This first one here is employer FAQs, just a great complement to this webinar today on the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And the second here is a no tax on tips deduction article that we have available for you. And if you're interested in checking that out, you can scan the QR code here on the screen as well too. For a moment here, I'm going to flash another poll on the screen. We would love to hear your feedback about how today's webinar went. It's intended to be 20 minutes long. And for those of you hanging out to hear the coffee winner, I promise we'll get to in 1 second. But please do share with us, how did you enjoy today's event? If you'd like to see some other topics in the future, please definitely either email us or put those into the Q&A. And otherwise, we would love to hear from you about how today's webinar was. Okay, go ahead and give that a close. And now I want to very excitedly announce today's coffee winner. This is a 6-month coffee subscription where coffee beans are going to arrive to you in the mail from Trade, one of our partners. And today's coffee winner is Daphne G. So Daphne, thanks for attending today. Thanks for registering. Excited to share some coffee with you, and we'll be reaching out after the webinar is over to let you know how to get your coffee to your house. And those of you who didn't win today, we have 3 more webinars in the Brewed for HR Success series. We will hope to see you at the next one, which is October 24th. We're going to be talking about knowing before you grow, how to hire across state lines without headaches. And otherwise, thank you again, everyone who attended today. Have a great Friday, and we'll see you at the next one.